Now, the BJP has also jumped into this, slamming the portrayal of Ravana in Adipurush. Malvika Avinash of the BJP has tweeted saying Ravana, a Shiva Bhakta Brahmin from Lanka, had mastered 64 arts. Jaya Vijay, who was guarding Vaikunta, descended as Ravana owing to a curse. This may be a Turkish tyrant, but is most definitely not Ravana, is the message from the BJP's Malvika Avinash. She said Bollywood must stop misrepresenting our Ramayana, must stop misrepresenting our history. Ever heard of the legend N.T. Ramarao? N.T. Ramarao, the Telugu superstar, had also in fact played Ravan in a film that had in fact gone on to become one of the most iconic films in Tollywood. And once again has become a North versus South battle. Talk about Bollywood distorting history, distorting what Hindus believe in the Ramayana. Gaurav Sawant is joining us with more details on this. Gaurav, what was your first impression when you saw this trailer? Because, you know, all of us growing up have heard of Ravan, of course. We've all read, seen films, and he looks completely different from how Saif Ali Khan has shown Ravan, how he's been dressed up as Ravan in this particular trailer.
You're absolutely right. The depiction is very different from what people have seen for decades now. Very different from what appeared in that very famous television series Ramayana on TV. The criticism on social media, of course, is, this looks more like a Turkish invader or a Mongol invader in India and not Ravan. Malvika Avinash, of course, also taking that North-South divide, saying, Ravan was, very, very learned. He was a Brahman. He made one major mistake. But apart from that, he was a very accomplished devotee of Lord Shiv. The depiction here, of course, very different from what we've seen all along. And that is the anger that comes out. And it's not just restricted, as Malvika Avinash puts it. Malvika Avinash, of course, is criticizing the way Ravan is depicted, perhaps as a Turkish invader, which is what netizens also say, that this looks more like Alauddin Khilji or Babur or, one of the invaders who came from Samarkand or that region, but clearly not somebody who was from Lanka. Point one. Point two, there are others who are also extremely unhappy with the chariot, as you very rightly pointed out, the Pushpak Viman. Here it's some kind of a bat, that Adipurush, what Saif Ali Khan seems to be riding in the movie Adipurush. Pushpak Viman was an aircraft. Ravan wasn't riding a bat. The depiction again appears flawed according to netizens. The third aspect that is also being raised is the depiction of Lord Hanuman. Again, Lord Hanuman is someone that Hindus worship. The kind of character who's been depicted here in this movie and the depiction, for example, in Goswami Tulsidas in Hanuman Chalisa is so very different, and this is what netizens are up in arms about. If I could, take this opportunity to tell you what we've been reading and reciting in the Hanuman Chalisa is Mahabir Bikram Bajrangi Kumati Nivara Sumati Ke Sangi. Now this is where it becomes the depiction of Lord Hanuman is Kanchana Barana Viraj Subesa Kanana Kundal Kunchit Kesha Hath Vajra Dhwaja Viraje Kande Munj Janeyu Saje. What does the depiction say? Kanchan Baran, his complexion is like gold. Viraj Subesha, he's dressed up very elegantly. Kanan Kundal, he's, the kundal that he's wearing in his ears. Kunchit Kesha, the way his hair are. Kande Munj Janeyu Saje, the Janeyu that he's wearing of Munj. Does the character depicted here in this movie, does he anywhere resemble the character that Goswami Tulsidas, talks about? And this is what has the netizens up in arms, Akshita.
Gaurav, just stay with me because, I want to put out two very, very telling images right now. And that's what you see on your screens as well. How we've grown up seeing Ravan being portrayed. What we're showing right now is, in fact, the images from Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana. This was the Ravan that we're used to. Long hair, big moustache, that tripund that you see there with the crown and, of course, the chariot also in some of those scenes. Versus the Saif Ali Khan portrayal of Ravan seated on a demon with a long beard, short cropped hair. There's zero resemblance, Gaurav. There's absolutely no resemblance, and this is a film, Adipurush, which is supposed to be on Lord Ram. So you'd expect that Bollywood, while there is certain creative liberty, at least sticks to the basics as far as research is concerned.
You're absolutely right. You'd expect Bollywood to, do basic research. Now, some are actually, especially on social media, are criticizing, saying that this is deliberate distortion and only aimed at one religion, only aimed at the Hindus, where Hindus are mocked, their faith, their belief is mocked, by the film industry. And, once it happens to happenstance, twice it could be coincidence. But when it happens repeatedly, at least many people say this appears more to be enemy action or a sustained effort by some in Bollywood to show the Hindu religion and its followers in rather poor light. And this argument has happened almost very frequently. Perhaps there will be more. This is just a trailer. Perhaps we will know more, when more emerges from this film. But the first reaction on social media, at least the things that we are talking about, appears rather negative.
Sure, many will argue, like you said, Gaurav, that this is just a trailer. Are we jumping the gun? But it's not really about the story that's being contended right now. It's about how these characters have been portrayed, and that's very, very clear from what we're seeing in the trailer right now. There are many memes that are doing the rounds, Gaurav, about how, this trailer has very poor VFX, etc. But when it comes to these mythological characters itself, they too largely have been misrepresented. And the controversy isn't just about Saif Ali Khan's portrayal of Ravan, but it's also over Hanuman, as you pointed out. So there are many, many aspects over which people are poking holes and saying, this isn't the Ramayana that we know.
This isn't the Ramayana we know, and those who say that, some of this criticism is because of the religion of one of the characters who's playing Ravan. Do remember that Dr. Rahim Masoom Raza, when he came out with the Mahabharat, everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. Everyone watched it. It was done in a very sensitive way. It was done in a way as not to hurt anyone's sensitivities or sensibilities. Of course, the last word remains with the Film Certification Board or the Censor Board. But should this pass, through the Censor Board, there would be questions that will be asked about, are there limits to creative liberty, and is every creative liberty only unidirectional? Because the moment it's elsewhere, there are threats of either beheading or worse. And in this instance, is creative liberty only being taken with the Hindu religion or mocking the followers of the Hindu religion? Be that as it may, it again remains to be seen, this characterization of whether it's Ravan or the Pushpak Viman or Lord Hanuman, does that go down well with the believers or not? That is what has triggered this controversy.